Hey, what's going on? So, welcome to the Financial Mirror. I really appreciate everyone tuning in today. Lucky for you all, we do have a special guest in Mr. Victor Farinas. And today we're going to be talking about, here it is. Today we're going to be today we're going to be talking about all about home buying simplified. So, really breaking down how you can simply walk through the process with a real estate agent and get you into the home of your dreams, or maybe even the home that you never thought was possible. That's what people like Victor are out there doing. They're out there helping people find homes, get into homes that they could have been dreaming about and never thought was a reality, and ultimately making sure that you're getting what you want without overpaying or being taken advantage of on the back end from a seller's agent, or vice versa. So, as you know, I have been wrapping up this series on home buying, and I thought what better way to wrap this up than to talk to a real estate agent that has done deals, has been out there, has been in the field working, and obviously can give more insight than obviously I can ever give from how he's been able to go out and help people meet that American dream of owning a home. So, that whole entire series, it sort of stemmed from people that were out buying homes that they couldn't afford, and then feeling like they never could really get ahead. So today I want to introduce Victor, and we're going to run through this because I do think that he brings a lot of knowledge, a lot of expertise, and a lot of experience to all of the listeners, anyone that's tuning into this, no matter if you're watching this on a live stream, if you're watching this on a replay on YouTube or Facebook, or listening to this on the podcast, there's nothing better than to hear from actual real estate agents that are out in the field working to do just that, do everything that we've been talking about in terms of home buying. So welcome, Victor. Truly appreciate you taking the time out to do this.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. What's up, guys? I'm Victor. Yeah, I just want to take the time straight up just to thank Joe for bringing me on. This is pretty interesting. Kind of first time doing this. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, what questions do you have for me, Joe?
So first off, what I really want to talk about is sort of how, there's if you've been shopping for homes, right? Every listener out here, if they've ever thought about shopping for homes, they know that there's agents everywhere. Like if you look on billboards, you look on for sale signs, you look at any home that's out on the market, right? Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, everything, there's agents everywhere. So if you don't mind sharing, how can people go through and find a really good real estate agent for them that's going to help them in the home buying experience?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Joe. Actually, with that, honestly, with that, the way that I view is working with a lot of different people. It comes down to the relationships that you build. Mainly, it's usually a friend of a friend or a family member. It's really that person that you feel comfortable with, because you're going to end up sharing a lot of financial information with your realtor, with your mortgage loan officer, and that's that relationship that you build. So whether it be a family friend or someone that you know, really it kind of starts off there. Or you can look out when you see different houses, things like that. Normally people would just approach that person and ask the question. It's really just building that rapport and knowing that you can trust that person. So I would really just go with that.
Right on. Are there any sort of qualifications or anything that buyers should look for in a particular real estate agent?
So in a particular real estate agent, really it would kind of go off of, um, there's a lot of different qualifications, a lot of different like things on the bottom of their signature block, if you will. Primarily those that have business degrees, those kinds of things too. They understand the financial aspect of real estate and what it means to buy in a house, especially in Hawaii. For example, there's a lot of money involved, and you want to make sure that that person understands and has kind of gone through that before. So if you know that they have the experience, they've gone through the process, they've had these various credentials or various different things beneath their signature block, those kinds of things can help you pick the right person. For example, you have other people that have like green or something. There's all these different qualifications and all these other things. But those are kinds of things you can look out for too.
So I want everyone that's listening to know. So Victor is a real estate agent in the Hawaii market. So the thing about it is, don't let that deter you from listening any further, because a lot of this stuff is totally. I mean, he could go be a real estate agent anywhere. He'd have to learn the market, a little bit, but a lot of the skills, a lot of the experience, I mean, it's almost transferable. So I want everyone to know a lot of what we're going to talk about today is can be utilized whatever market you're in, and these same skills can be applied to any agent that you choose. But obviously, if you're shopping for a home in Hawaii, obviously we're calling Victor. I mean, that's
That's
guaranteed,
right.
right?
You don't know now, you know.
So the obviously, when you're thinking about agents that are out and about, that are doing a lot of the on the ground work, that are sort of in my experience, are doing sort of the home selling from the front yard. They're sticking the the signs in the front yard. They have their picture on it, all that kind of good stuff. Is there ever a time where a particular company even it has particular agents in it that can be beneficial to the buyer?
Kind of, what do you kind of mean by that? So you're saying,
So like
you got the
like if you had like an actual, like a full on realty company, is it more beneficial for a buyer to go through an agent that falls under one of these companies, or is it just as beneficial to just choose an agent that, even if they that they're flying solo, that they can benefit the buyer just as much?
So I guess to give you guys, or the listeners and everyone listening in, tuning in, every agent in general represents a company. Usually, you have multiple people in a company regardless. For like myself, I'm under Harper Island Realty, which is a really great company, local company here in Hawaii. And one of the things we do is support local. So just need to put that out there. But yeah, in general, it's usually a team. You have multiple people handling, especially with COVID and things like that. You have to follow the different guidelines that are set forth. So with X amount of people only allowed to come in, hand sanitize, wearing the booties on your shoes, or taking off your shoes in general and having that hand sanitizer, things like that. But we always want to stay safe. We always want to ensure that we have the right amount of people, and following the various guidelines that are set forth here in Hawaii. But yes, part of a team is very important. But really, I would just like to emphasize, it's all about the aloha spirit here and working with the different people and being comfortable with that agent, right? Having that rapport and building that rapport. So you guys have that foundation of trust and honesty, because you need to make sure that the agent is in your best interest, right? We're a fiduciary working on your behalf, trying to put you in the best situation, really trying to find you that home for you and your ohana or family.
So that brings up another question for me. Is there ever, you said that there's a team, and there's multiple agents that are working on this company. Is there ever any crosstalk or any other is there a conversation happening? Are y'all sharing ideas? If you have a buyer, like, hey, are y'all, I got this buyer, he wants this. Have you seen anything? Is there any kind of like crosstalk between agents?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So when you do have, if I'm representing a buyer and I know that there's all these different sellers, and in particular, I have an agent that's representing a seller either within the company or someone that I know. Obviously, we're going to be talking with our buyers and trying to figure out, like, hey, I have this buyer that's interested in this area, or vice versa. The person that's selling can state, there's this home that I'm selling in this area, or it's going to be coming out soon. Please let me know, things like that. Like, we'll definitely talk, and really just try to share and work with each other, because it's all a big community, and it's just figuring out the best situation for your client. So
Right on. So for the clients, is there a big like review pool, or is there a big push for clients to put out some kind of review? And if so, where can people find reviews on agents?
so reviews on agents, it really just depends on the type of tool that you use, really, in social media, when it comes to like Facebook or Instagram. A lot of people, they talk to the agents there and they leave comments on the various houses that they sold and things like that. You'll see a lot of different social media posts, really with the sold sign, or having the shaka thrown up there,
Oh,
with the house, things like that. So all those different things, you'll get to see how big of an impact it really is to sell a home here in Hawaii, or represent someone to buy a home, because I mean, houses here are expensive.
they
And
are.
when you really have the opportunity to find that perfect home for your clients, or sell that home for that matter, to find something even better, it's really a way for people to set their roots, continue to grow their family, or start a family for that matter. And really just, it's kind of like an uplifting experience, to be honest, because it's like they're part of your family now too, because they've gone through this process with you, they've talked
Right.
with you, they've shared their experiences and kind of what they want. And it means something because they're going to lay roots down, right? Or uproot and find something better. So it's
I,
a,
lo-
it's a, it's a great experience.
I do. I like that you said that, because I still have a home in Alabama that I rent out, and I can't tell you the relationship that I built with that real estate agent, and how beneficial it is, right? Because when things go wrong, I'm like, yo, you got someone that works on roofs. Hey, you got somebody, and every single time, no matter what the request, he's got somebody he can point me to. So you're right, man. That
Mhm.
relationship, it lasts. I mean, I've had that house for a couple of years, and every time something's ever happened, he's hooked me up with someone local that he knows, and that can help me out. So a relationship definitely goes a long ways.
Oh yeah, and that's huge here too, right? So for the listeners, and those that don't know, one of the things in Hawaii that's kind of pushed out from, I'm gonna bring this up, right? Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, there we
Ohana
go.
means family. Family means nobody gets left behind. It's kind of like that too when, at least our company, when we work with, all right, Disney, please don't sue me, by the way. I love Lilo and Stitch. Just gotta throw that out there. But yeah,
Hey, their
really,
stock boomed recently too. Totally off
I
subject,
know,
but
man. Yeah, off subject, but hey, Disney though.
yeah,
I love Disney. I went to Disney World recently. It was a great experience. I loved it. Got to visit the family in Florida, stuff like that. My in-laws.
heck yeah.
Shout out to my in-laws.
There you go.
Um, but yeah, so with that in general, like growing up, my mom's a realtor and also a mortgage loan officer, and I get to see, this when in my parties and stuff. My mom would be like, "Meet your auntie over here, meet your uncle." Like, they're not really related to me, but they're related to me
That's right.
as a family right here in Hawaii. Just through that, meeting them, my mom, their shared experiences, and it just started, buying a house, and it's grown, and they're friends, like lifelong friends, still making deals today. And like you said, with your buddy, your agent back in Alabama, yeah, that's exactly how we work, right? We're gonna know somebody who knows somebody to get stuff done, right? We're committed to helping out that person and ensuring that everything they need done gets taken care of.
That's
Simple.
true. Yeah, and that goes back to the reviews, right? Because if anybody
Yeah,
asks me
exactly.
about Jared Giddens in Mobile County, Alabama,
Hey,
shout out Jared Giddens, because I'd recommend him 100%. So,
right
uh,
away.
so if so when it comes, so we've got our agent, right? Like we picked them out. Like we picked out Victor. We're gonna buy a house, and we're ready to start that process. What when you talk about it, everyone throws around this pre-approval. Everyone talks pre-approval. Are you pre-approved? Have you done your pre-approval? Have you gone through this process? What is pre-approval, and why is it so important? I mean,
No, it's funny that you say that, right? So pre-approval in a nutshell is kind of just think about being ready, right? Like going to a gunfight with a knife. You want to have, all right, that's a bad analogy, honestly. Sorry about that for those that,
murder. Dang, you
yeah,
murderer.
no, oh gosh, sorry. I was just watching the news again about Henry Ruggs.
Oh,
That situation. I was
sad, man.
sorry. But in general, right? You want to be prepared going into an offer, and having that pre-approval letter honestly just tells you, from my perspective now as a realtor, I'm not a loan officer. That's the wife, and that's another
That's right.
that's a whole other conversation we could bring her on. But in general, what you want to do is you want to be prepared. You want to have that pre-approval letter, which essentially is going through all of your documentations in terms of your statements from your bank, your credit, And the bank or whatever bank that you go to will give you, or mortgage loan offices, um, will tell you you are allowed X amount of dollars to purchase this property. So you now have your purchasing power up to X amount, right?
Okay.
So you want to be prepared in making your offer. So that's really what gets you ahead of other people, because if you have your pre-approval letter, then you're golden. If you don't, then you're kind of one step behind the other buyer. So you want to be well informed. It's about the realtor to know, getting you ready for it. So it's like me doing my double checks for. So I was in Marine Corps, by the way. So you always want to double, triple check, ensure that you're ready to go, right? So
Oh, you discount double checking, but you're
that's
more
right.
like you're pre-approving double checking.
Discount, double check. See, the funny thing about discount double check, though, not a shot at Aaron Rodgers, but my man did not discount. No, nobody from the Packers discount double checked him until like today, man.
Boy.
Sorry, man.
So about the pre-approval though, so you went over a lot of the benefits, but I guess for me, right? For me, if I'm listening to this and I'm like, okay, I see what's beneficial for it. My question is sort of what's some of the things, or some of the, you said a lot about financial documents and a lot of other documents. What's some of those things that I can go ahead and start preparing as I'm discussing all this with my agent, or I'm potentially looking for an agent? What's some of that documentation I can start being proactive about putting together?
Yeah, great question. So as far as the documentations that you're going to need your past 2 years W-2s. You're going to need the past 2 months pay stubs, your bank statements. They're going to pull your credit, so you're going to have to give your social and all that information. And with that being said, I just want to highlight again the relationship that you're building with your realtor. With that said, your realtor is going to help facilitate a lot of the different conversations with the other players that you're going to be working with, to include like their mortgage loan officer. Working with me, thankfully, I got my wife here. Well, not here currently, but my wife, who's also mortgage loan officer. So backpacking off of her as a team, right? You got our Ohana here, so we're
There
here
you
to help
go.
support. Yep, exactly. Here to help support, and really just work together to get that person or people ready to buy that home, right? So getting them situated and prepared to make that offer.
So does that cost anything? And I'm sure everyone wants to know. I'm going to ask you. I'm letting the cat out of the bag. Does it cost anything?
For pre-approval and all that thing, no. In reality, a lot of those things are bundled up and will be made clear. I'm not exactly sure the amounts as far as the mortgage loan officer side, and kind of what that means with monetary value. But with the realtor, I can tell you that when we are purchasing a home, it is the seller that is paying like my fees and things like that.
Yep, and that's very important to talk about too, because I think that's misconcepted in the fact that so many people think that oh well, I could save money by not getting an agent when you're buying a home, and I'm like, you realize you're not really paying for that. It's kind of a free service to
Yeah.
you, so. But
Exactly. It is a free service, right? We're here to help, man. If somebody wants to buy a house here, if somebody's moving to Hawaii, or really moving anywhere, right? Or just looking around and they're trying to purchase, using your realtor, using someone that you know, someone that can really help you out, or maybe someone that you don't know and you want to get to know them, or it's word of mouth by someone that had recommended them. It's really just feeling comfortable with that person, because you're going to be going through this process, you're going to be asking questions, and you want to ensure that that person can convey that to you, in a well efficient manner. So things like that, right? You got to just work with that person, and I'm here, so let me know.
yeah, let him know. He'll hook you up, especially if you want to move out here to Hawaii. So he's got you.
That's right.
So let's say they want to move out to Hawaii. What is something that if I called you up right now and I was like, hey, so uh, I want a house in Hawaii. Well, obviously that doesn't give you much information, right? So what's some of the things that would help you as an agent shop for my home? Like what's some of the things that naturally are sort of those things that an agent sees across multiple homes. Because obviously, if I said, "Oh, I want a swimming pool with a 6 foot deep end," well, obviously, there's not many that's going to have these exact things, right? So, well, some of those items in a home or pieces of a home or characteristics of a home that a buyer can tell you to help you shop for their house.
Right. So, really, with that buyer, it comes down to what you're looking for. Like, and part of that is also with location, right? So, we always say the three L's of real estate. Can you kind of guess what they are? It's location times three: location, location, location. So that is a key factor. Part of that too is, what are you going to do for your livelihood? And just to kind of tie it back into what we talked about previously with that whole pre-approval, the first kind of things, especially with the market that we're in now, is we're really going to want to ensure that person has the ability to get that property that they want, that home, right? To find their dream home here in Hawaii or wherever it is. We just got to make sure that that person's prepared, and we want to be frank with them and ensure that we're not leading them on to get something that they're not going to get, right? So really, just that, being upfront with them, letting them know that, hey, this is where you're at, this is what we can do, and of that, these are your options. Can we work with the other seller? Yes, because oftentimes we do have great relationships with the other real estate agents here in Hawaii, because it's small world, right? Small island,
It
but
is.
really there's a lot of opportunity out there, and sometimes you just got to be patient. You got to work with it, and we can also do that through paying attention to Joe's podcast, videos, all those things to make sure you guys are financially literate and understanding what you can do to build your finances, because that's huge. So please tune in. This is great opportunity here. So had to do that plug for you, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah, so I think that's a big thing, right? Because I think we sort of always forget that this isn't pre 2008, right? Where anyone could walk into a bank and say, "Hey, I want to buy a $500,000 house on a $30,000 income." Times have changed a lot, and I think that it is becoming much more important for people to have their finances in order just for that. And obviously Victor is gonna have to be the bad guy when he has to say, like, you can't really get that house, bud, I guess it'd really be his wife that says you can't really get that house, but we can't approve you on that. You're not getting a loan for that one. But ultimately, it does. It comes down to a lot of that, and I think you brought up some really good points that can give some insight into that piece that people really have to get a hold of their finances, to go through the process, get the pre-approval, and ultimately, I mean, tell me not, if you're going through that pre-approval process, you probably don't have to get too deep in to realize that, hey, you might can't get this one. What do you think?
Yeah, so with with the pre-approval process in general, right? You're really taking a step back, right? You got that mirror, that financial mirror in front of you right
That's
there.
right.
And that's clarity, honestly. You look at it and it's clarity, because at that point in time when you're working with that realtor, that mortgage loan officer, and they're essentially looking at your results of your financial mirror, and right, it's right there, right? Plain as day. Like,
It is.
it's unfortunate, but what you can do, or and what we'll do, or and the right people that are in your corner, not necessarily, you might not be to myself, but that realtor that you find, that mortgage loan officer that you find, the right one will take the time and work with you to get you spun up on what you need to do to get to that spot, right? And they won't just give up on you. Then they're gonna help you out, take you by the hand, guide you through what you can do, and that's essentially one thing you could do is just keep watching, man.
Yeah.
Keep
So,
watching, keep listening.
and I think I have a question about that. Is it common for buyers to, I mean, obviously, I mean, this is probably this actually, I think that statistics show that this is the biggest purchase that people make in their lives, right? So, I mean, cold feet obviously could be one thing, but is it common for people to sort of back out of offers if they can't get what they want?
Yeah, so oftentimes that can happen, honestly. You can have an offer in one day, and then something happens with, I don't know, they change their mind. It's past that particular time period. Excuse me, sorry. And things like that can happen, right? Or I can have somebody they want to put in their offer. There's a counter offer, and then at that point they change their mind, or something happens. I've even heard about a situation where two contracts were accepted, right? So you're in contract with two different people, not from me, but I've heard of that situation happening, and that's crazy, right? So now the potential litigation, there's crazy things like that. But that's
That
why it
is
matters
nuts.
when, yeah, that's crazy. So you need to be well informed, have the right agent, and yeah. So and with cold feet, oh yeah, it happens sometimes, right? Because like you said, it is a very it's probably the most amount you're going to spend probably in someone's entire lifetime
I think I've read that
when
somewhere. I really
purchasing
do think
homes.
I've read
Yeah,
that. I
maybe
think there's some
Yahoo or something.
facts.
I don't know.
I think there's
Mhm.
facts out there to back me up on that. But if I'm wrong, it's my fact. How about that?
There we go. There we go.
But okay. So you talked about offers. You talked about contracts. What are some? I mean, in today's market, people are in constant bidding wars for houses, right? I mean, there's a huge supply and demand. There's huge demand and no supply. So what are some strategies or some tips that people that are going through this process or are planning on going through this process can utilize that maybe you've seen work when it comes to bidding on a home?
Thank you for that. Yeah. So when it comes to bidding on a home and things like that, one of the best things that I would always recommend, and going back and tying everything in again, being prepared. And again, relationships. So kind of the first two things we talked about. Oftentimes, the other realtor, and you worked well with that realtor. It might be past work experience with that individual or that team, and you know what? You have provided the best offer on the table in terms of what you can do to have your client ready when purchasing a home, and when selling a home. You know that person is well prepared. They're not going to sugarcoat anything. They're going to have everything upfront for you, all the documentation, everything straightforward. The contract is nice. Everything is perfect. You have all your signatures, every documentation taken care of. Everything is streamlined. You know the process flow. And yeah, I mean, as long as you have everything and you're fully prepared to do what you need to do to get that deal done, then I'm gonna go with that guy because I know that they're the right person. They've worked with these other people before. You've built that relationship. You have that rapport, and you're ready to get that deal done.
Right on. And I think I think that's a another good thing, and it's led me to another question. Is when you have those relationships and you've built those relationships, it is. I mean, your boys, right? Like that seller agent is boys with you. Like y'all are friends. Sometimes do you think that plays a huge role in whose offer gets accepted, regardless of who has the better offer?
Yeah, sometimes that can be the case, right? But oftentimes too, when it comes to say I don't know that other person, um, it comes down to that relationship that you start to create, right? Like
Right.
you might not be boys, but you just have that vibe with them. And oftentimes it's that sense of the aloha spirit, and that's why we try to push always, doing the right things, doing what you need to do, being upfront and honest, right? Representing your clients in the right way. So with that, another thing that I would recommend for, those interested in purchasing a home is you can even have your realtor write a letter, or have them facilitate that letter to the seller, right? So that way they know kind of your intentions in a way, because you're not going to have the two parties ever meet.
Right.
Oftentimes they could. That is a rare occasion in which they will, but you know, letting them know like your intentions, and why they should kind of choose you. Um, yeah, that's good too. They get to kind of feel like, okay, this home that we've had, we have full right to let it go to this family or this individual, right? So that comes into play too. And also another thing is when you're writing your contracts, there's different clauses that you can put in there to ensure that you're putting your best foot forward for that offer. But that's those kinds of trade secrets. I'm gonna keep it close hold
Yeah,
for now.
you
Just
got to keep those close. On A,
there you go.
if you're ready to buy the house, talk to Victor. He'll let them go then. Just to
That's
you
right.
though. Don't share it. Don't share the wealth.
Or you can
So
come to the team.
yeah. Hey, so I think that these offers though, the one thing that I wanted to ensure that we talked about is earnest money, because I do think that that's something that is it does come up, and it's kind of I would use the term almost best practice, but it doesn't have to be. But my question about earnest money is sort of, do you think it's necessary? Do you think it helps? And if so, how much should people be willing to or ready to put down to show that they're serious about these offers?
So great question. With earnest money, right? So other people know this as the amount you're going to put down on a home payment. And with Hawaii, to be quite frank, if you're serious about getting houses, you'll see cash 100%, like full purchases. And I'm talking houses here, probably at the lower level, like single family homes, 800 plus.
Yeah,
The average single family home, like in general, sold in Hawaii is, I want to say, like $950,000 now, single family home, right, in the median. I might be wrong. It might be actually in the millions, last I checked. But yeah, it's a lot of money. And if you're going to be putting money down, they want to know that you have the funds to close. And with that said, a lot of the down payment is part of that, right? Because you're adding up that this is the amount that's going to be in escrow until you close. And in the event something happens, part of that money gets taken, right? So
right.
they want to ensure that you're going to be willing to finish this out, however long the closing is, 30 days, 60 days, 45 days, what have you. So
Yeah, and I want to make sure that everyone heard what he said right there. Is that money is in escrow until the closing, so that money is still yours if you use it. It's not like money wasted. So I wanted to make sure everyone listening understands that you're not giving money as like it's more of a deposit than any. It's not you're not putting money down that you'll never actually get to use as long as you close, right? And that's the thing. And if your offer's not accepted, I mean, you get your money back. So it's only you only lose it if you decide, if you get those cold feet, right? And I'm saying this right, Victor?
oh, sorry, yep, muted there.
Oh, good.
Yes, definitely, you guys are not going to be losing out on that money. But you just want to make sure that you're putting the right amount that you feel comfortable with, you and your family and your situation, whatever it may be. You write up the contract, and you put your best foot forward, and you leave it up to God right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to finish off with, as we wrap this up, is the big thing is making sure that you understand, as a buyer, that we discussed this earlier, but I wanted to make sure everyone, this is probably the biggest takeaway, and I truly mean this. It's probably the biggest takeaway is that you're behooved. It would behoove you to choose an agent when you're buying a home. And if you don't mind, Victor, like talk through that it's truly a cost benefit analysis is what you're technically doing, and sort of that, what is that benefit, and why is it so important to use this free asset to the buyer in terms of choosing an agent?
Yeah, great question. In terms of choosing your agent, right? It's really how you get along with that person, because oftentimes you can find out that agent is going to be a lifelong friend. Not only are they going to be with you in this process for finding that home that you're going to set roots in. Like, I don't expect a lot of people to be buying just rental properties, right off the bat. they usually want to find their home first, and
Right.
oftentimes that first home might be a property where they want to use to facilitate that passive income. My wife and myself, that's what we kind of did with our first home. But yes, very important to find that free asset to establishing that first home, um, or it could be your second, third home, but just using that person because they're able to help facilitate like your wants and needs for whatever your given situation. So
Right
definitely,
on.
definitely want to use somebody, and especially use their knowledge, right? So I'm not familiar, let's say, with the Alabama market. I'm going to hit up Jared, and I'm going to make sure that I'm well informed about that particular market. And I've had
Right.
conversations with Joe about this with you before, right? For the listeners,
Absolutely.
like I'm not aware of where to go, what to do. I know about Alabama football. I'm a Raiders fan, so
Roll
I got a
Tide.
lot of Bama players on the Raiders, and I followed Bama. I was a Tool supporter. Unfortunately, he's with the Dolphins, but it is what it is.
It's okay.
And
It's still he's still in the Ohana.
that's right. That's right. Roll Tide.
There we go.
But yeah, like you definitely want to take the opportunity to use that free asset, right? And might not even be an asset. That person might end up being a lifelong friend.
100%.
Hey, because you
So
got a friend in me.
that's right. You got a friend in me. I don't know where that's
Yeah,
from
yeah.
though. Where's that from?
Toy Story, man. What's up?
Oh, is that Toy Story?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They're making that new Buzz Lightyear movie coming out too, man.
Oh snap! I'd check them out.
Yes,
I just
yeah.
watched Toy Story for like the first time ever.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
sorry, man. I don't watch movies. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna wrap this up, but what I want to do is I want to give you a chance to sort of tell people where they can find out more information about you, any social media accounts that you have out there for anyone that or any of your real estate services are out there, websites, anything that you got, man.
Yep. So automatic. You got me on Instagram right off the bat. I guess you'll see it in the link below or
Yep,
in the
100%.
description for the other podcasts and things like that, which is Victor, my first name, Farinas, Farinas _ Nothing else after the underscore, just straight up underscore. So my first last name _
There you go. And
There it is.
do you have a website or anything
Yep.
that you're on?
Yep. So the website is harperislandrealty.com. So Harper, Harper, and then islandrealty.com. So
Perfect.
that's the team that we have. Also focused on Ohana. I got my mom and my stepdad who owns the business. So we work together along with the other agents that we have and our network of various people that we've worked with to help facilitate, like, say you want to get something done in your house, electric, plumbing. We do have those people and those connections. So yeah, let us know.
Right on. And like I said, Victor Farinas _. Follow him on social media. Check out the website, and ultimately, if you are planning on buying a home, hit up Victor to facilitate that process. He'll be your lifelong friend. But ultimately, Victor, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time out to do this. This has been a conversation we've had, and I'm so glad that we were actually able to accomplish this and knock this out. I know the listeners will enjoy it. I know they'll enjoy the conversation. They'll enjoy all your knowledge that you're able to share.
I appreciate it, bro. Separate to that, for those listening, we're gonna get another sports podcast coming up. Be ready for that.
It'll be on. It'll be out there. So for sure, if you have any questions, like I said, hit Victor up. But ultimately, thank you. Thank you for listening. As always, if there's ever anything that you need in terms of financial coaching or any other kind of assistance that you need in your finances, you can always go to thefinancialmirror.org/contact, fill out that contact form, and it'll put you right in contact with me. You'll slide right into my DMs. I'll be in contact and we'll get you set up and I'll put you on the path. So free consultation to go through your finances and to really give you what the personal coaching that you need to get your finances in order. And as always, if you are listening to this on the podcast, please leave a 5-star review and a comment. Both those go a really long ways in getting this information out. So once again, Victor, thank you. I truly appreciate all of your time and your knowledge.
Thanks, Joe. I'm glad to be of help. And thanks for having me on this podcast, video, everything.
Absolutely. Thanks. So until next time, peace. See y'all.